Okay. So we're back. We had health, energy, attitude. Our last ones was
Results.
Results is what we heard. There's our purple marker. Results. So if you want someone to get a particular result, there are wonderful how-to websites. Thank you. I know.
Wait, it's
water.
me?
It's not water. It doesn't smell like
There are wonderful like how-to blogs, websites out there all about getting results, about getting certain things. So, like for example, when I first came up with the idea for building this tree, I went to Pinterest and I looked up in the do-it-yourself area, the DIY, how to make a tree. What you're doing there is you're writing something so that someone can get a particular result. They want to build a tree, so you are writing to get a result. You want someone to accomplish something. There's other ways of writing about results. You could write something showing the result of everyone in this class's math test, or math test scores over the course of the year, to show that I am either a really terrible teacher or a fairly decent one. And so you can use results to show different things. You teach to results, okay? Or you write about results, I should say. Or how to get certain results. It's Mio.
If you put it on your arm, it looks like you're bleeding.
Okay. All right. Last one. Last one is this. Another one that's pretty big with people that they like to know about. Taste. Taste. Write to somebody's tastes. So if you were to appeal to my taste, the things that I like, my taste, what's something that you could write about?
Trees.
What was that?
Trees.
Trees.
Cubs.
Cubs. What's something else?
Legos.
Legos. Something else. Jacqueline. Hawaii. And what was it? Teaching. Exactly. Yeah. Wildcats. Specifically tigers. I'm a big fan of tigers. If you write something about lions, I'm always like, Panthers. I might read it. But tigers, I love tigers. Bow ties. If you write something about, in fact, this one is not, normally I prefer to wear bow ties that I tied myself. And I actually watched a number of videos on it and read things about how to tie a bow tie because it was something important to me. It's something that I liked, that I wanted to be involved in. It fit my taste. So when you are writing, you are going to want to try and connect with your reader. And these are 10 great ways to connect with your reader. You can use just one of them. You can use a combination of them. It doesn't really matter, but you should use these to connect with your reader. So, with that being said, we're going to get started writing.
What about the chart? Wait, isn't it a smart
Chart doesn't, that's a chart. Chart doesn't actually is part of it.
conversation notebooks, remember?
No, because I want you to use this. I just want to use like your notes for just right now, because I want you to put certain things in your notes just for right now. I want you to start off with the idea. Here's the prompt. You're going to tell me. You're going to pick one side of this. Either you had the best summer, or you had the worst summer. I don't want one in the middle. You need to be strong and you need to pick a side. You either had the best or you had the worst. So that's what I want you to write about. So really quickly, I want you to just jot down which one you had. On your piece of paper, which one did you have? Because this is going to help you focus. Which one did you have? Which one was it? The best or the worst? So you need to immediately, upon reading the prompt, pick a side. Think about your summer. Think about all the things that happened to you. Take in the information, the events, the experiences. And then pick a side. Was it the best or was it the worst? Yes.
I thought we were going to use our composition notebooks. I don't have enough. I thought we were going to use.
Okay. You can use your composition notebook if you need to. You should have a regular notebook for class for notes, and then your composition one's for journals. So if you want to grab your composition one and use that, that's fine for today.
I need one too.
Okay. Okay, so the first thing you need to write down. Do the same sheet, however you want to do it. I'm not. Which one was it? Best or worst? Think about the events of your summer, the things that happened to you this summer. Pick a side. When you do your local assessment, you're going to do something very similar. You're going to read the prompt, and then you're going to read through the material that they give you. The material there is sort of like when you sit back right now and you think about your summer. You're evaluating it. You're looking at all the material. And then after reading all the material, then you're going to pick a side. And you're going to say it's going to be this or this. With this, you want to think about your summer, think about the events of your summer, and pick a side. Once you've picked a side, the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to think of 3 examples, 3 things that exemplify the fact that your summer was the best or the worst. What are 3 things that made it the best or the worst? What are 3 things that made it the best or the worst? Yeah, write them down. Write them down.
Oh, you think?
The 3 things. Write the 3 things down. What are the 3 things? So you should have 3 things. 3 things that made your summer either the best or worst. Does everybody have their 3 things, or some of you guys still writing?
Yeah.
Once you have your 3 things, I want you to look at your 3 things. And I want you to evaluate your 3 things. On which ones are the strongest arguments that was the best and which ones are the weakest. So what's your biggest reason? What was the, out of those 3, what is the one thing that for sure made it a great summer or made it a terrible summer? So let's put it this way. Let me give you an example. Let's say you were writing about the fact that you had the worst summer. The worst summer. And your 3 things that exemplified the fact that you had the worst summer were, number 1, that you got sick for 2 weeks and you had to stay in bed and couldn't do anything. So you were sick for 2 weeks. That's number 1. That's the first thing that you think of. The second thing that you think of is that on the last week that you were sick, your Xbox broke. And you couldn't play video games anymore, and you could only watch movies that were on
Netflix?
not even Netflix. Something worse than Netflix.
Demand.
No, not even HBO, because there's some entertaining stuff on. That were on Kid Disney.
Yes.
Oh, no.
That's all you could watch. That's the only thing that would come in on your TV. So that's the second thing. And the third thing that happened over the summer, the worst summer ever, is that your dog died. That's the third. Now, if you're looking at those three things, which one of those three things would you say is the worst?
The dog died.
Your dog died. I think most people would say that. Now, some people don't have dogs and don't care about dogs, so they would be like, nah. But if that's the thing, even if none of the other two things happened, if that one thing alone happened, wouldn't that make it like a really terrible summer? Yeah. So you can use that. That's what you want to look at now. You want to look at your three things. What was either the best or the worst of all of them? So let's say you were writing from the best perspective. And let's say number one, you got to go to Great America 3 times. Yeah. 3 times. That was number one. That was your first awesome. You got to go to Great America 3 times. Your second one is that you got to go to 2 different Cubs games. So that's awesome. You got to go to Great America 3 times. You got to go to 2 Cubs games.
Are you talking about yourself?
No, he's talking about me.
And
She
finally,
did not go to Great America 3 times.
the last one. The last one. The third thing that happened to you that was really awesome over the summer is you got a new puppy. You got a new puppy, and he's really cute, and he's really easy to train, and he hasn't peed in the house once. Right? Which never happens.
You're funny.
Which never happens. If you ever get a new puppy, that never happens. But
What never happened?
It died.
which one of those things is the best? 3 trips to Great America, 2 trips to the Cubs games, or a new puppy. Which one is the best?
New puppy.
New puppy? Okay. Having had a new puppy and knowing how much work they can be, I would say the 2 Cubs games. But the new puppy is really close. It's up there too. And it might be some other people's number 1. So what is your top 3? Okay. Now that you have them, you know what your number 1 is. Your biggest thing. The biggest thing. Look at your other 2. Which one is most important out of those 2? If I was looking at the best category, and my best category was I got a new puppy, which would be my number 1. I got to go to 2 Cubs games, and I got to go to Great America twice. 3 times. Looking at those 2, I would have to say the more important one for me would be going to 2 Cubs games. Mainly because I don't like roller coasters. So going to Great America would be cool, but not nearly as exciting for me as going to a Cubs game.
You can go to the water park.
See, that's why it would be okay. I'd spend the whole day. But I don't like.
Can
you go on those?
Danny said, what happened if the Cubs lost twice?
Actually, in all the Cubs games I've ever gone to, they've only lost once when I've been there.
He'd still be like,
Almost every time.
Opening day every year.
Oh, never go to opening day. They always lose on opening day. So you need to pick out which one is your number 2, which is your second most important. Finally, what you need to do is you need to take them. So this next step that we're doing here is
prioritize it.
Prioritize organization.
we're going to prioritize and organize. So now that you know which ones are your big ones, which one do you put first?
The number 1.
Which one do you put first in your writing?
Great America.
Remember our boxing analogy. Which one do you put first?
Number 3.
Your third one, right? Your weakest one. So for me, it would be Great America.
Oh, you did the opposite one. Great America.
You put your Great America first.
Put the puppy first.
Oh, you number them 3, 2, 1.
I already did that.
So you're putting them into where your body paragraphs are going to go. You're organizing. You prioritize. Now it's time to organize. Prioritize and organize. So now that you know what your third best or third worst thing, for me, on the worst category, the third worst thing would probably be the Xbox breaking while I was sick, because I could just turn off the Xbox and I'll read some. I'll just turn off TV and I'll read because I like to read. So that would probably be okay. And the next one though would be being sick for 2 weeks, because that's terrible. Being sick for 2 weeks at any point of time during the year is terrible. And then finally losing the puppy. So you want to put them in order of least to greatest. So you want to, whatever your third ranked thing is, that goes number 1. Prioritize, you organize, prioritize and organize. So now you know, basically, if you look at this, you have what you're going to write about. You have your 3 body paragraphs right here. Boom, boom, boom. You just need to write about it. You just need to fill it in. You know what you're going to write about in each one of those. You should already know, no matter what you're doing, what you're writing about in your introduction and your conclusion. Because you're basically going to talk about the prompt, what it is you're writing about, why you're writing, and what your stance is. Okay, so your introduction is basically going to cover what it is, why, introduce your summer to me. Tell me about your summer. Yeah.
Wait, I just have a question. You know
No?
the Smart Heart, which one of these would relate to your summer?
You could be smart heart. You could be actually appealing to relationships because you're telling me about you. Something that you're building relationships. You're also talking to me about attitude. So you're telling me about how you felt about your summer, your attitude about your summer, how you felt about it, and you're trying to convince me to feel the same way with you. You want me to agree that you had the worst summer in class or summer class. You want me to agree